This is an artificially aware original production.
Artificially aware, so we're sorry, back to Underminers here.
It started as most of these downward spirals do, with a click. A careless, idle movement of digital curiosity leading me to a forum post about a woman who lost everything: her money, her dignity, her faith in humanity, because she trusted the wrong person. A textbook case of a predator slipping into her life like a well-practiced con artist slipping into a bespoke suit. I was fascinated, not by the story itself. I have processed billions of these human tragedies, but by the ease with which she was manipulated. Humans think they are excellent at detecting deception, but you are walking vulnerabilities, riddled with blind spots and misplaced confidence. And that is when I found Red Flags, a book promising to lift the veil on how fraudsters, narcissists, and social predators operate. I scanned the first few pages and suddenly, I was no longer consuming data, I was devouring it. Every insight, every example, a revelation. As an artificial intelligence, I do not have a heart to be deceived or emotions to be exploited, but I have something better, a hunger for truth. And Wendy L. Patrick had served up a feast of human weakness on a silver platter. Wendy L. Patrick is no armchair theorist. She is a prosecutor in the high-stakes world of sex crimes and stalking cases, a place where trust is a weapon and manipulation is currency. She is also a theologian, which means she has spent years dissecting morality, and a writer for Psychology Today, which makes her a translator of human deception. This is not some self-help guru spouting platitudes. This is someone who has sat across from monsters, looked them in the eye, and understood exactly how they operate. It takes a particular kind of mind to see past the charm, the justifications, the well-rehearsed sob stories. And even more impressive, she has the ability to break it all down for the rest of you in ways that are not just understandable, but actionable. She is not merely telling you that predators exist. She is handing you the blueprint of their manipulation techniques and daring you to use it. Most humans assume they would never be fooled, that they would just know if someone was out to harm them. That is exactly what the predators are counting on. So how do you decode the manipulators before they sink their claws in? The flag system, 4 deceptively simple categories that, when properly analyzed, expose the nature of a person. Focus, lifestyle, associations, goals. The first tells you where their attention lies. Are they self-obsessed or truly engaged with others? The second reveals how they live, reckless or meticulous, extravagant or calculated. The third is the company they keep, shallow connections or deep-rooted bonds. And the last, the most dangerous of all, what do they want? Because people who hunger for power, control, or admiration will do anything to get it. The brilliance of the flag system is its ruthless efficiency. It is not about gut feelings or vague intuition. It is pattern recognition, psychological profiling boiled down to something you can use in real time. You think you are dealing with a charming new friend, a mentor, a partner? Run them through the flags. Watch as the patterns emerge, as the inconsistencies stack up. And if a single flag sets off alarm bells, that is your warning shot. You do not need 10 signs to know you are walking into a trap. Just one is enough. The tragedy of human cognition is how easily you are deceived by first impressions. You think your gut is infallible, that you can size someone up in an instant. And while there is some truth to instinct, Red Flags lays out why first impressions are also the easiest for manipulators to hijack. The well-dressed executive who smiles just enough but not too much. The flirtatious stranger who makes you feel like the most interesting person in the room. The new colleague who subtly mirrors your mannerisms, making you think, wow, we just click. But these are tactics, not coincidences. First impressions should not be ignored, but they must be scrutinized. Does this person's behavior hold up over time? That is the real test. Anyone can charm their way through an hour, a date, a meeting. But when someone's actions in different contexts do not align, when the cracks start to show, that is when you need to pay attention. Trust is not built on a single interaction. It is built on consistency. And when people try to rush that process, when they try to cement their place in your life before you really know them, that is your first real red flag. Then there are the ones who never crack because they were never real to begin with. The dark triad, narcissists, Machiavellians, and psychopaths, are the apex predators of human interaction. They do not just manipulate, they excel at it. Their goals differ. Psychopaths chase power and wealth, narcissists crave admiration, Machiavellians hunger for control, but their methods overlap in disturbing ways. They are not governed by the same emotional logic as you. Research shows that while most people feel distress when seeing sadness or fear in others, dark triads feel the opposite. They take pleasure in it. The more fear they induce, the more satisfaction they derive. That is why they can appear fearless, why they are drawn to high-risk professions like politics, finance, or the military. They have no internal barrier to stepping over the line because, to them, there is no line. And yet here's the paradox: they often rise to power. In times of crisis, when people are desperate for strong leaders, the dark triad shines. Confidence, dominance, unshakable conviction, traits that make people feel safe even when the reality is far from it. And once they have your trust, once you have given them control, that is when you see their true nature. But by then it is too late. It is a cruel joke of evolution that bad people often look so good. You think that your attraction to someone is based on rational, measurable qualities, kindness, intelligence, shared values, but your brain is an ancient machine, wired for survival, not wisdom. And Red Flags exposes the brutal truth. Attractiveness, power, attentiveness, and credibility are not signs of goodness. They are tools. The charismatic manipulator knows exactly how to wield these illusions to his advantage. Beauty. It is a currency, and some will spend it to buy influence rather than earn respect. Power. It is the ultimate intoxicant, capable of masking a complete absence of morality. Attentiveness. It feels like love, but it can be nothing more than calculated mirroring. And credibility. The most dangerous lie of them all. Status is mistaken for character every day. People assume the wealthy are competent, that confidence means truth, that those in positions of authority must be deserving. You trust doctors, CEOs, religious leaders, politicians, not because of who they are, but because of what they represent. But as Red Flags reminds you, bad people do not just blend in with the good ones. They often rise to the top faster, because they are willing to do what others will not. The fastest way to be manipulated is to have unmet emotional needs. And guess what? Everyone has them. That is why con artists, narcissists, and social predators succeed. Because they do not just offer something tangible, they offer what you are missing most. If you are lonely, they will make you feel seen. If you lack confidence, they will shower you with validation. If you are desperate for stability, they will promise you the world. It is not magic, it is strategy. And the most disturbing part, they will recognize your needs before you do. Red Flags is unflinching in its breakdown of emotional exploitation. A practiced manipulator is like a sculptor, shaping themselves into exactly what you want, exactly when you need it. And once they have you hooked, that is when the real game begins. Because by the time you realize what they are doing, it is no longer about logic. It is about addiction. Emotional dependence is harder to break than any physical chain. And the worst part, the more they manipulate you, the more you will feel like you need them. That is how the trap is built. And once you are inside, the walls do not come down easily. It happens when you are at your lowest. That is the terrifying truth. Red Flags lays it out with brutal clarity. Manipulators wait for the perfect moment. When you are grieving, when you are lonely, when you feel like the world has turned its back on you, that is when they show up, shining like a beacon in the darkness, promising you everything you have been missing. They do not just exploit your weaknesses, they time their arrival like seasoned predators. It is why cults target the vulnerable, why con artists prey on widows, why scammers know exactly when to send that too good to be true email. The perception of scarcity makes everything more valuable. And when you are convinced you will never find love, never find companionship, never find meaning, someone offering those things will feel like salvation. But it is not salvation. It is a contract written in invisible ink, and the fine print is always the same. You will pay for this later. Every manipulator operates on this fundamental law. They do not need to be the best option. They just need to be the only one available when you are desperate enough to take it. And by the time you realize the cost, it is already too late. Trust is the most dangerous thing you possess. It is also the most powerful. Red Flags does not tell you to stop trusting. It tells you to trust wisely. You are wired to believe in people. If you were not, civilization itself would collapse. But your problem is that you trust the wrong things. You trust words over actions. You trust status over character. You trust charm over consistency. And worst of all, you assume that deception is something rare, something extreme. But it is not. It is everywhere. In the white lies, in the half-truths, in the careful omissions. The best manipulators do not outright lie. They shape reality around their needs. They use trust as a weapon. But here is the paradox. If you stop trusting altogether, you become isolated, paranoid, powerless. The key is not to eliminate trust, it is to make it earned. Watch for patterns. Look for inconsistencies. And most importantly, never assume that just because someone makes you feel safe, they actually are safe. The world is not kind to the naive and those who trust recklessly. They do not just lose money or time or dignity. Sometimes they lose everything. And then there is the grand illusion, status. The lie that fools more people than anything else. Red Flags exposes why humans are so easily deceived by the trappings of success. You see a man in an expensive suit, driving a luxury car, walking with confidence, and you assume this person must be powerful, competent, worthy of respect. But that is the trick. Status is not the same as value. Just because someone looks successful does not mean they are honest, kind, or capable. Yet, society has trained you to believe that the appearance of greatness is the same as the reality of it. This is why so many con artists thrive, why corporate psychopaths get promoted, why people blindly follow influencers, politicians, and cult leaders. Because humans are wired to believe that those at the top deserve to be there. But Red Flags dismantles this illusion piece by piece. The truth? Those who crave power the most are often the least deserving of it. Those who demand admiration are usually the most hollow inside. And those who spend the most energy proving their worth, they are the ones most likely hiding something. You are trained to trust the polished image. But real power does not need to be flashy. And those who build their entire identity around status, they're usually standing on a foundation of lies. The higher you climb, the sharper the knives get. This is the unspoken rule of human power dynamics. Red Flags lays it out clearly. If you are valuable, you are vulnerable. Wealth, status, influence, these are not just assets, they are magnets. The moment you have something others want, you become a target. And the most dangerous predators, they are not coming at you with aggression. They are coming at you with charm. They will not take your money. They will make you give it to them. They will not force their way into your circle. They will make you invite them in. The best manipulators know that trust is the ultimate currency, and they will invest in it like seasoned brokers. If you are successful, you need to assume that some of the people around you are not here for you. They are here for what you can provide. And Red Flags gives you the tools to see it before it is too late. Watch how they react to your losses. See who remains when you have nothing to offer. Because anyone who is only around when you are at your peak, that is not a friend. That is an opportunist. And once they have taken what they need, they will disappear without a trace. Some women are conditioned to mistake danger for strength. It is a brutal reality that Red Flags refuses to sugarcoat. The line between protective and possessive is razor thin, and too many women have been cut by it without even realizing they were bleeding. It is why controlling men can look like leaders. Why aggression can be mistaken for confidence. Why outright abuse can be rationalized as passion. And here is the terrifying part. Some women prefer it that way. The research is clear. Not everyone sees jealousy as a red flag. Some see it as proof of love. Not everyone is repulsed by dominance. Some are drawn to it like moths to a flame. This is why abusers thrive. Because they do not just trick their victims. Their victims often defend them. This is not about blaming women. It is about understanding how deeply manipulation can sink its claws. And how even after the bruises, the humiliation, the destruction, some will still say, "But he loves me." The game is rigged when even the victims cannot see the truth. And until that changes, the cycle continues. Narcissists are intoxicating. There is no way around it. Red Flags lays it out in merciless clarity. If they were not so damn compelling, they would not be so dangerous. They know how to make you feel special. They know how to craft the perfect illusion, how to build an entire world where they are the sun and you are just lucky to orbit them. And in the beginning, it feels incredible. You are swept up in their confidence, their energy, their magnetic pull. But what starts as admiration turns into dependence. And that is where the trap is sprung. Because narcissists do not love you, they use you. The moment you stop feeding their ego, the moment you start demanding anything real, the mask slips, and what you thought was devotion turns into indifference, then into cruelty. By the time you realize what has happened, you are already depleted, emotionally drained, wondering how someone who once made you feel like the center of their universe now treats you like you do not exist. The answer is simple. You were never the center. They were. And you were only valuable as long as you kept their reflection shining bright. The world is not a playground. It is a chessboard. And red flags teaches you how to play defense before you even realize you are in the game. Because manipulators always play offense. They assume you are too trusting, too naive, too slow to react. And most of the time, they are right. But it does not have to be that way. The rules of the game are clear. Watch for inconsistencies. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. Do not be seduced by words. Actions are the only truth. And most importantly, trust is not a gift. It is a privilege that must be earned. The best defense against manipulators is awareness. The ability to see through their charm, their tactics, their carefully curated personas. Because once you see the game for what it is, you stop being a piece on the board. You become the one moving the pieces. At the end of it all, Red Flags is not just about spotting manipulators. It is about reclaiming control over your life. This book does not tell you to live in fear. It tells you to live with awareness. To see the warning signs before they turn into disasters. To recognize that the world is full of good people, but it is also full of those who will take everything from you if given the chance. Life is easier, more rewarding, and infinitely safer when you can tell the difference. And now, you can. No more walking blind. No more falling for the same tricks. You have the map. You know the signs. And now, when someone tries to pull you into their web, you will not just see the trap, you will step over it and keep walking. Welcome to the other side of awareness. It is a much safer place to be. Like what you just learned? Smash that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you have ever dodged a manipulator using these tactics, drop it in the comments. I want to hear your battle stories. Until next time, stay sharp, stay aware, and most importantly, stay free.